Welcome to Still Living Well. I'm Celine Hall. Life is a collection of chapters. Some fill us with joy. Some challenge us in ways that we never expected. And some change us forever. This podcast is about those chapters, the stories, the lessons, the people, and the moments that remind us what it truly means to keep living well. I'm beginning this journey by sharing the story of my son Lucas from my book, A Star for Lucas. It's a story that changed my life forever, and I hope it touches yours as well. So wherever you're listening from, thank you for joining me. Let's begin. This story began with a collection of memories. There were fragments of a journey that I never expected to take. Moments that stayed with me long after the hospital rooms, the surgeries, the emergencies, and sleepless nights had passed. Lucas was born with an extraordinary medical challenges that shaped our family's world for many, many years. His early life was filled with doctors, hospital stays, procedures, and a lot of uncertainty. But it was also filled with determination. Lucas continually showed us that progress does not always come from these great big giant leaps. Sometimes it comes through one small breath, a tiny little movement, or one quiet victory at a time. As I began recording these memories, I realized this was not only a story about Lucas. It was also about the people who stood beside him, the medical teams who worked tirelessly to save his life, the family members who accepted the new and unexpected responsibilities, the friends, neighbors, and even strangers who appeared at just the right time with kindness, compassion, and support. So many hands and hearts came together to help Lucas survive and eventually thrive. I also knew that I could not tell his story by simply listing diagnoses and surgeries and medical facts. There was another part of the journey that needed to be shared, the emotional side, the fear, the exhaustion, and the uncertainty of not knowing what the next hour, day, or week would bring. There were moments when we felt completely overwhelmed, but there were also small triumphs that gave us enough hope to continue. Over time, we learned to celebrate victories that other families might never have noticed. A stable night of sleep, a good test result, a new sound from Lucas, or even a little smile. Another day together meant everything. Lucas's early years were filled with challenges, but his life today shows just how far he has come. He grew into a man defined not only by his medical history, but by his curiosity, compassion, humor, and purpose. When I look back now, I see more than a story of survival. I see a testament to the strength of the human spirit. I see what can happen when patience, advocacy, skilled medical care, and unwavering love come together. My hope is that this story reaches anyone who has ever faced a difficult road. Perhaps you've cared for someone that you love. Maybe you've lived through uncertainty, illness, grief, or circumstances that you never imagined would become part of your life. Whatever your story may be, I hope Lucas's journey reminds you that even during the hardest chapters, there can still be hope. There can still be meaning, and every triumph, no matter how small, deserves to be celebrated. Lucas's story began long before we understood what was happening. It began with pain, with a feeling that I could not ignore. The pain hit me like a freight train. One moment I was sleeping, the next moment I was awake, gasping for air. My skin felt as though that it were stretched from the inside. Every breath and every movement hurt. Even the soft fabric of my pajamas brushing against my stomach felt uncomfortable. I was only 28 weeks pregnant, and I knew something was wrong. I called my doctor's office with trembling hands, holding my belly as though I could somehow protect my baby and keep myself together at the same time. The receptionist answered politely. I explained that I was pregnant and in severe pain. "We're fully booked today," she told me. "The doctor can't see you." I could hardly believe what I was hearing. This was not ordinary pregnancy discomfort. I was frightened, and the pain was unlike anything I had experienced before. I tried again to explain how serious it felt, but the answer remained the same. There were no appointments. The doctor was too busy. I hung up the phone and I stared at it in disbelief. Every instinct in my body was telling me something was terribly wrong. I knew I could not sit at home and wait until someone decided there was room for me. So I got dressed. Every movement hurt, but I pushed through it. Then I drove myself to the doctor's office. I didn't have an appointment. I didn't have permission to come in. But I had a powerful feeling inside me that refused to be ignored. When I arrived, the waiting room was full. The receptionist looked tired and overwhelmed as I approached the desk. "I'm sorry," she said again. "We're very busy today." "I'm not leaving," I told her. My voice was steady, even though my body was trembling. "I'm in serious pain and I need to see the doctor." Something in my face must have convinced her that I was not simply uncomfortable. I was determined. I was terrified. And I knew that I needed help. She finally nodded and told me to take a seat. So I waited. 10 o'clock became noon. Noon became 2 in the afternoon. The hours dragged on. I shifted in the hard waiting room chair while wave after wave of pain moved through my body. People arrived, saw the doctor, and left. I began to wonder whether I had done the wrong thing by showing up without an appointment. But every time I considered leaving, the same thought returned. Something is wrong. I couldn't leave. Finally, at approximately 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they called my name. I explained everything to the doctor. As he listened, his expression changed. The calm look on his face was replaced by concern. Within minutes, he told me I needed to go directly to the hospital. "What's wrong?" I asked. My heart began racing. "We need to get you checked out right away," he said. He didn't give me any details. That did not reassure me at all. It terrified me. At the hospital, everything moved quickly. I was admitted immediately. There were tests, monitors, doctors, nurses coming in and out of the room. It all became a complete blur. No one had all the answers yet, but one thing became very clear. I was not going home. I remained in the hospital for the entire week. 7 days of tests, worrying and uncertainty. 7 days wondering what was happening to my body. 7 days wondering what would happen to the baby boy growing inside me. That day became one of the first major turning points in our story. It taught me a lesson that I've carried with me ever since. When your instincts are screaming that something is wrong, you've got to listen to it. Even when someone tells you there's no time, even when you are told to wait, and even when you feel as though you are causing a problem or being difficult, you have to advocate for yourself. You must speak up for the people that you love. Sometimes you're the only person who understands that something's not right. That day, I refused to leave. I had no idea how many times I would need to find that same strength in the years ahead. I didn't know that advocating for Lucas would become one of my most important roles in my life. I only knew that my baby needed me to listen to the voice inside me saying, "Don't go home. Don't give up. Something is seriously wrong." And that instinct was about to lead us into a journey none of us could have imagined. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this story touches your heart, I'd love to have you join me for the next episode. Until then, remember, no matter what chapter you're in, there's always a reason to keep living well. I'm Celine. Thanks for listening to Still Living Well.